Triangulated analysis of Houghton Mifflin. The learning theories that have influenced the Houghton Mifflin curriculum are the metacognitive theory, associationism, whole language approach, and social constructivism. The theory of constructivism is the overarching approach to the curriculum. The constructivist lens is found throughout the curriculum and in every thematic unit. Metacognitive theory. Metacognitive instruction was examined and proposed by Van Keer and van der Linde. Their research concluded that a direct reading lesson was a less effective strategy than explicit strategy instruction. A central objective of this theory is to help readers independently employ metacognitive strategies, such as rereading, activating background knowledge, and adjusting reading speed. When teachers model metacognitive strategies, they are providing children different tools to utilize when reading independently. Eventually, the teacher will release the responsibility to students and facilitate independent cognitive engagement in the reading process. An example of this theory in practice is when the teacher reminds students that good readers think about what they have read and mentally summarize the plot. The teacher performs a think aloud that provides a brief one-sentence summary of the current chapter. Students then practice summarizing the next chapter in their journals. Their main objective is to produce a summary similar to the one the teacher created. In this specific activity, the strategy of summarizing was modeled by the teacher in one passage and subsequently practiced by the students with another appropriate level passage. This reading practice is a valuable tool for instruction because excellent reading strategies are taught explicitly and continued with multi-levels of support. Associationism. Associationism is an early learning theory conjectured by Aristotle. In this theory, learners make connections or associations based on events or ideas involving other associations. Graphic organizers allow students to visually examine connections within the text to what they already know. Aristotle categorized associations into three groups: contiguity, where events that occur at the same time are associated with one another; similarity, where learners categorize ideas by similar features and properties; and contrast, where learners associate by opposing features. An example activity of associationism is when students are asked to use a Venn diagram that explains how characters of a story compare and contrast with one another. Students can use their prior knowledge to infer characteristics based on a character's words and actions. When readers compare characters, they are categorizing their likenesses by similar features, and when readers contrast, they are finding opposing associations that would divide the characters. Story maps are also a strategy used in designated and integrated ELL instruction. This post-reading activity can benefit teachers and the learner as it allows students to demonstrate and increase their comprehension of a topic. Whole language approach. This philosophy was framed by the writings of Goodman and Smith. They theorized that reading is a natural process that developed when listening, speaking, reading, and writing are interconnected. In a whole language approach, reading strategy instruction is integrated with an overarching thematic unit. Instruction is based on high-quality texts that align with other content areas. Extended periods of time in the day are for reading and writing workshops, and assessment is varied, ongoing, and growth-oriented. In the thematic unit Heroes, students read the text, "Happy Birthday, Dr. King." They are introduced to the suffixes ending in words like kindness, peaceful, and powerless. Then they read and learn how to take notes on a series of letters written by Rosa Parks, an integrated social studies link. Lastly, students are asked to write a personal narrative on a hero in their life. Thematic units are an integral component to the whole language approach philosophy. This particular thematic instruction provides students with a well-rounded exploration of a particular topic. It provides a rich literacy environment. Social constructivism. This theory was developed by Lev Vygotsky. He concluded that cognitive development is supported by a child's social interactions. The zone of proximal development, or ZPD, is where a child meets just enough difficulty to process new content or develop cognitively. Typically, the ZPD is met in differentiated instruction. Children's knowledge, ideas, attitudes, and values develop through interactions with others. To develop fluency skills, partners are asked to take turns rereading their favorite part of the story to practice reading fluently. Partner reading is a shared reading experience where skills are observed and learned by students and their peers. As students practice reading a specific passage with their partner, they are building knowledge of how readers develop fluently. Most partner activities encourage students to coach or assist one another in the reading process. This peer assistance scaffolds children's learning and provides more opportunities for skill improvement. Because this task is also used for students with difficulty in decoding, this level of skill falls within the student's zone of proximal development, or the most appropriate level for a learning task. Best practices. The program strengths include adequate ratio of teacher read-alouds and shared reading of literature and informational texts, a comprehensive emphasis on instruction in areas like phonemic awareness, phonics, comprehension, fluency, spelling, writing, and language, and it provides opportunities for student collaboration and discussion. The first example of best practices is a teacher read-aloud. Every unit begins with a teacher read-aloud that is intended to engage students' listening comprehension. Throughout the read-aloud, there are areas for the teacher to stop and ask open-ended questions for further engagement. Morrill and Gambrell support the use of read-alouds for developing higher vocabulary and expert reading skills. There is a positive correlation between how often children listen to read-alouds and the size of their vocabulary. In read-alouds, teachers can model appropriate rate and prosody, making connections to background knowledge, summarizing, and monitoring for understanding. Another example is the comprehension strategy focus, or modeling. Teacher models the reading strategy of predicting and inferring certain things about the story using details and close reading to make accurate predictions. Explicit instruction, like modeling a reading strategy, is a way teachers can provide context for the reading environment and engage readers further. When teachers provide inferences and predictions that turn out to be wrong, teachers can revisit these predictions and modify their understanding. When teachers show vulnerability within their reading, it shows that students can also make mistakes. These strategies create a safe environment in which it is okay to be uncertain or wrong. The last example is a literature discussion, where small groups of students discuss the story with either their own questions or questions from the Think About It, the selection section. Collaboration is a vital component to literacy instruction for the fact that students are sharing ideas and exchanging knowledge through oral discourse. This is an element of concept-oriented reading instruction, which is designed to increase intrinsic motivation, self-efficacy, social motivation, and valuing of reading. Program weaknesses and considerations. This program lacks an emphasis on technology integration. Teachers can provide opportunities for students to communicate digitally, like digital pen pals or virtual field trips. Some text-based questions lack affective responses from students, which could possibly decrease student motivations. So, teachers can use overarching guiding questions that elicit internal emotions and focus on large ideas like war, peace, discovery, and survival. This program also lacks flexibility of student choice for themes. So, teachers can incorporate student choice in selecting a story, selecting sentences to explain, or identifying objectives for the lesson. Culturally responsive practices. In my evaluation of the curriculum, I found that the culturally responsive content was less than satisfactory, according to my interpretation of the Culturally Responsive Education Scorecard. There is emerging awareness in the curriculum's representation of characters and authors. There are accurate depictions of diverse backgrounds, but representations of diverse family structure and traditions are lacking. The teacher's manual is also emergently aware because it provides supplemental materials for teachers to connect content with their culturally diverse students. The category of social justice is culturally insufficient due to the fact that the curriculum does not encourage cultural responsiveness. It protects students from some relevant injustices. Representation of characters and authors. Some strengths are that the curriculum features diverse characters and authors who are not represented stereotypically, and social situations are situated within a social context. Characters with disabilities are also represented. An example of this is in the story Happy Birthday, Dr. King, which is written by Catherine Jones. She is featured as a successful author who is racially diverse. The story connects with an important time in history, the Civil Rights Movement. Lou Gehrig is a featured character in one of the text selections as well. It summarizes his heroism and life with a neurological disease. A weakness is that there are not many references to ethnic cultural traditions, religions, and languages, and there is no representation of diverse family structures. Social justice. Strengths include the curriculum portraying people with marginalized backgrounds in a positive light. The text demonstrates strengths in diverse populations based on assets like talent and knowledge. Evidence of these strengths is in a biographical selection where Gloria Estefan is a featured artist. The text discusses her passion and work ethic to get to her incredible fame. As a post-reading connection, students are asked the question, what qualities and accomplishments make Gloria Estefan a hero? Some weaknesses are that the curriculum doesn't provide opportunities for the students to explore social issues impacting their lives. It doesn't encourage students to combat inequality or promote equity. Teacher's Manual. Its strengths are encouraging students to contribute their prior knowledge and experience of a topic. It provides supplemental curriculum to reflect traditions, cultures, and student interest. Evidence of these strengths is when students are given discussion prompts that ask them to predict or infer feelings about characters based on their personal experiences. There are writing prompts for students to write personal narratives that align with the theme of the text as well. Supplemental materials include texts on farm workers, baseball players, and women in science. Some weaknesses of the teacher's manual are that it lacks direction for the teacher having awareness of biases or gaps between their own culture and students' cultures. The curriculum does not make adequate connections between activities and students' local neighborhood, culture, environment, and resources. Final summary analysis of curriculum. All in all, Houghton Mifflin is a well-rounded reading program. It provides a comprehensive approach to literacy instruction. The instructional methods presented in the program are determined by a constructivist theoretical lens, which activates students' background knowledge and experiences. Despite its efforts to connect literacy skills to students' lives, it falls short of providing relevant materials that relate to social injustice. This can be problematic for students in minority groups. However, at their discretion, teachers have the choice of using supplemental material that can give students voice and choice and increase their social and cultural responsiveness.